My narrative is about Clayton Jennings, a real-life story of his testimony, which was about 3 years ago. Clayton Jennings, he grew up in a Christian home. His parents, relatives, family members, all these people, church members, kept on telling him, Clayton, you need to accept Jesus. And he always thought as Jesus as a family heirloom, as a nice guy, as somebody you put in your pocket and say, I'm a Christian, you can check that off your list because God is good. And then one day he went up in front of his church on a Sunday morning and he surrendered, and that day was the first day he started a relationship with God. But he strayed away and he realized he cheated on God after he felt so lost, alone, and neglected. And he realized how much of the best relationship, the most important relationship he had was with God. And he ran from that because he saw the pleasures of the world that would only leave him empty and void, and it would only fill a little void for a little amount of time. One day his brother called him up and said, can you join me in my Bible study? And in his Bible study, it grew from a few people to a football team amount of people to so many people they had to get a bigger building for. And Clayton, he thought he could be a big blessing and add another number to the Bible study, and he could encourage his brother. So he agreed to go, and that night he felt so convicted because his brother, he speaks truth. He doesn't speak of gimmicks. He just felt so convicted and so lost, and that night he was leaving that Bible study going home, and he cried and cried, and he heard God tell him to turn off the radio and talk to him. He talked to him, he cried, and he poured out his heart to him. And he told him, God, he was just like, God, can you wake me up, do something radical, just shake me, wake me up. And little did he know the next day, God would do that. The next day he went with his brother in the morning to go up north, to drive up north, and his brother was driving, and they were in an intersection before they were going to go on a bridge. And his brother was talking, and next minute his brother's screaming, no, 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 and Clayton looks in the corner of his eyes and sees a large grill of a large van. And then he was going at 55 miles per hour with not even one hint of a touch of a brake. And it spun around, and then he saw a grill of a semi hit him straight on. And they went on to the icy bridge, and they hit the side, and he heard it crack. And he thought at that moment, Clayton thought at that moment, that he's gonna die. This is the end. This is where I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die with my brother right here, and we're gonna fall in the icy water, and we're gonna die. But the next moment, there was smoke coming up in the air, and he thought the car was going to go on fire. So he knocked out the door and helped his brother get out because he was unconscious. Well, when he got out of the car, he noticed these Christian tracks falling from the sky. And it was a God wink. And such a force from the impact that knocked all the brother's CDs out of the trunk, and they were flying in the air. And on the back of them said, "What if? What is your eternity if you don't have God?" Something like that. And they were going in the ambulance, and his brother asked Clayton, "What can you be so happy about?" And Clayton told him about what he prayed the night before, and his brother is all jacked up. He's got a broken collarbone, he's got a broken foot, he's got a concussion, and he said, next time you pray something like that, don't get in the car with me. That was a moment that shook him to his core, and ever since then, he has never stopped. He does Jesus, Jesus, Jesus until he dies, because of the impact he's made, and he's realized that the world can't fill the void. God is the maker of peace, joy, grace, love, and mercy, and faith. And that's my narrative.